I'm a huge dog lover. My husband and I, we have 3 dogs.
I think most of America, most of the world loves dogs.
I almost couldn't concentrate from the cuteness. They're so cute.
We've grown to very much love them.
Bulldogs are the coolest dogs. I play with those things all day.
There's boxers, German shepherds, poodles, chihuahuas, puppies.
50, 60 dogs on the set every darn day.
The good thing about all these dogs is even if they cause trouble, you love them.
You know what? I'd rather work with a crazy animal than other crazy actors. So I'll take a dog any day.
When you make a movie called Hotel for Dogs, you attract all the dog lovers. So it's as if we shook the film community and all the dog lovers fell down to the movie.
They sent me the script, and first I thought, oh, you know, do I really want to work with animals and, you know, kids? But then I sort of saw a real sort of urban fairy tale quality to this movie, which deals with, you know, abandoned children and abandoned dogs, and sort of draws an interesting parallel to that.
It's based on a book by Lois Duncan, which is a children's book, which is really beloved. But we took it into a new realm a little bit. We set in this kind of urban downtown feel to the movie to kind of create an environment that was not conducive or easy for dogs to live in or foster kids to live in.
When we meet Andy and Bruce, they're living with Carl and Lois Scudder, who are not the best foster parents in the world. You get the idea they're really doing it for the check from the government, and there's no way the kids could ever have a pet in this household, yet they have this little dog, Friday, that they got when their parents were still alive. Friday's very important to them. They love him, and he's their link to their parents. So they're constantly smuggling him in and out, trying to keep him hidden from the Scudders.
There's a key scene where Emma Roberts' character tells her brother that they really should get Friday a real home, that it's been too hard. And he insists they are a real home, that they are a real family. And eventually they adopt all these dogs, and they do become that real family that he's talking about. So it's sort of family is where you find it.
The first time I read the script, I just thought it was a charming family comedy, you know, with dogs. And of course, there was a lot of dog action. But when you start getting into the nuts and bolts of it, and you start realizing that every shot with dogs is not just about 1 or 2 dogs. What we're trying to do here is incorporate, you know, 20, 30, in some cases, you know, up to 120 dogs in a single shot. It's a little bit more complex.
Well, you can't just sort of stick 100 dogs in a room and hope that they're going to do what is written in the screenplay. I remember reading the screenplay the first time and saying, oh my, this is going to be a very tough movie.
A lot went into the casting. First I went to Gary Giroux, who has always been the dog trainer in all my movies and Dick's movies. He then brought on a guy named Mark Forbes, who was our daily overall trainer, who's fantastic.
When I looked at the script for the first time, it was a little bit of both sheer terror and excitement that it was going to be a really fun project to work on.
There's all different kinds of dogs. There's even, what's cool is that the dogs that are working aren't the only dogs that are on set. Like the trainers bring all their dogs, so there'll be like 20 dogs hanging around outside that are really cute.
It's a little bit difficult working with dogs because, you know, we get really thrown off sometimes in takes.
It's not like most sets. It's quiet on the set, and everyone's really quiet and still. On this set, it's a totally different thing. You hear commands from all over. There's, I don't know how many trainers are there, but there's got to be at times 10 of them, and there's, you know, 20 dogs running around.
And it's just, you know, a room full of stay, stay, Reba, stay, sit, 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 in between all this stuff.
It definitely takes a lot of more patience because even if like we do it right, if the dogs didn't do it right, the take is just bad. And sometimes the dogs will do it perfect, and then other times they'll just like start wandering around, and you have to think like, oh yeah, they are dogs, you know what I mean?
Can we do that one more time?
The first one was so good.
I had to run up a staircase with Friday and Georgia, and we did 17 takes because they kept falling behind me or going too far ahead of me or thinking I had food in my hand and nipping at my hand, so.
The K9 cast is so much fun. We shot the escaping the dogs from the pound scene, and oh, it was crazy. Emma got caught up and got tripped by one of the dogs.
The kids are bursting out and they're leading all the dogs out of the pound, and she went down and the dogs trampled her. It was like a stampede. She had a paw print actually on her face.
I didn't see it, but she apparently went down and then the dogs went all over her and ran through, and she got up just cracking up. It was funny.
You know, I'm actually glad that the dogs trampled me yesterday because it actually gives me something to talk about, because it's a great story when I'm doing interviews and they say, what's funny happened? And it's like, well, here's something tragic when I almost died. So it's great that that happened because now I can talk about it. Oh yeah, let's just wander the street and rescue every stray we see.
Well, with Emma, you basically need somebody who can carry a whole movie, and at that age, it's really hard to find, you know, somebody who can do that. And Emma came in and was just amazingly professional and, quite frankly, works for the camera so well.
She's fabulous. She just lights up the screen. She's got a naturalness and an ease about her.
I saw Nancy Drew. I was a huge fan, and I think she's incredible, but incredible.
Once Emma was on board, we really needed somebody for Bruce who could sort of hold the candle to her.
Jake has a little brother. He's really cute. He's like one of the sweetest boys ever. He's been really fun to work with, and not only are we together on set, but we're together in school, so we've definitely like bonded a little bit, and he's very sweet, very, very cute. He's such a gentleman, which is really nice.
He sort of has like a bit of savvy that doesn't go into precociousness. It's just sort of innocent savvy, and it worked.
Do you know the reaction I get when I tell people I'm trying to play 16 and 11-year-old siblings? It's not a good one. You screw this up, that's it. I can't.
Don Cheadle, who moves from Hotel Rwanda into the Hotel for Dogs.
Bernie is a social worker who has been working with these kids and trying to get them placed.
You know what I was doing when the phone rang tonight? I was explaining to my wife how I wasn't going to allow work to ruin our evening.
When I read the script, I thought it was, especially the way that my character talked to the kids, I like, because it's how I talk to my kids, you know, pretty straight up and just try to be honest with them.
I think the kids rose to the occasion. I think he made them better. He's an absolute pleasure to work with and a very fine human being.
We have a really good group, especially the kids. Like, I absolutely love Kyla. She's so funny. Hi. I think Tor thinks we're all a little crazy because we're always laughing. And we're like, I don't know. I think he thinks we're a little crazy, but he's very great, and he's definitely like really fun to work with.
He's kind of like a kid. He's got this real kid quality about him, and I think for this kind of movie, you really need that. So he's great with the kids. He's been a lot of fun to work with, and I think he's doing a bang-up job.
Lisa and Kevin are so much fun, and I was a huge fan of Lisa from like Friends and everything. So when I met her, I was really excited, and she's funny in real life and on camera. So it's been really cool to get to work with her.
They're out and out hilarious. I mean, we have so many takes of me just cracking up in the middle of the scene because I can't keep a straight face.
We work really hard at making bad music. That's actually one of the things that was the most fun, is actually the singing and the guitar playing.
Who will tell my tale? It was really fun. It's fun. I mean, there's pressure if you have to be good, but there's just fun to be had if you have to be bad.
It was fun. I loved it. I want to record a couple more tunes, maybe cut an album.
main dog characters are sort of a really colorful bunch. Friday, of course, always wants to eat and kind of has a very strong will.
This is the camera hog, my co-star who steals all the scenes.
He has this wonderful intelligence in his eyes. He's very expressive. You know, he moves. I love the way he walks down the street.
Georgia seems to be the kids' favorites, and that's because she's cute and she's little and she's a fetcher and she liked to go and fetch everything. She's got a really sweet face.
Georgia is one of my favorite dogs because you can just point the camera at her and you get a great laugh.
Well, my favorite is Lenny, and Lenny is a great big oaf. And Lenny needs to look outside. So we have a scene where Lenny's howling, and finally Andy realizes that it's the shade, and she lifts up the shade, and you see this face. He's got such a sweet face. You can't help but love him. So he's my favorite.
In terms of the funniest dog, probably Cooper, you know, who's the bulldog. And there's just such a scale to him and weight, and the jowliness of his face makes me laugh every time I see him.
You have to be very patient to get that look, you know, and that look really works on screen. I mean, honestly, when all fails, cut to a dog because they're so cute, but it's not easy.
It's my favorite kind of dog. We did about a week of pre-production where we rehearsed and worked on training the dogs and really getting to know them each.
It's very helpful for the actors to work with the dogs so that they realize the dog is going to be in the scene, that you might have to give the dog a treat a few times. There might be a trainer right off your eye line that's jumping up and down and waving to the dog, and it can be a little distracting.
They're like, come meet the dogs and have training, and after a day I was like, you know, we're cool, you know, we got this. I know when they're working just to be quiet and stand out the way, so we have an understanding.
They're really intelligent. We're dealing with like some Ivy League dogs in this movie. I think that's a good way to put it.
Give me a high five. Yay.
We wanted to create characters that will live well beyond the movie. Ones that when we watch the movie and we come home, we remember their names, we remember their personalities. And we also wanted to do something right in how we did this movie. So a lot of our lead dogs we've cast are rescues, are dogs that are actually adopted dogs. And there are some amazing actors.
Speak.
In the case of our lead dog, we have a team that makes up our lead dog, Friday. And our lead actor from that team is Cosmo. And Cosmo is a rescue. I mean, only 4 months ago, Cosmo was a dog given up for adoption.
There was a real pound that we shot in, and there were dogs in there, and I'm just really proud to say that all those dogs got rescued. And we actually put a message at the end of the movie, and it says, don't buy dogs, adopt them.
One thing I hope that this film does for the audience is to make them aware of the very real problem of the excess animal population today and the things that are being done. This is a responsibility we all have.
When they first gave us the book, it was just really exciting to us because Lauren Shaladonna and I are both very involved in dog rescues to sort of find a property about rescuing dogs. It doesn't happen very often, and I think when you're talking about foster kids and you're talking about dogs finding homes, you've got to put your money where your mouth is, and DreamWorks was great. Instead of giving us start gifts, they donated to Karma Rescue, which allowed us to save several dogs, and then a little puppy that we just found wandering in a parking lot. We took her in, and I started bringing her to set and keeping her in my trailer, and everybody was just instantly smitten with her. And two of our crew members, Liz and Aubrey, said we'd love to adopt her. They have a couple of acres in New Mexico and other dogs.
We saw an opportunity to give a poor little dog a good home, and my wife fell in love with her as soon as she saw her.
Animals are not throwaway toys. Animals are living, breathing, feeling creatures, and they need love, and they need to be taken care of.
And, you know, the theme of our movie, our kids, played by Emma Roberts and Jake T. Austin, They're really strays in a sense, and I think the movie's really about not overlooking what's valuable in our world, whether they're these foster kids or these dogs or this old abandoned hotel.
Wow.
We really wanted to play the hotel as an orphan itself. I mean, it's abandoned. Nobody finds any use in it anymore. It just sits there. So when you first meet it, it's actually, you get the wrong impression.
Tor is such a gifted visual filmmaker. You know, his background is from animation, and he wanted the places and the environments to really be alive. This movie doesn't really look like any other movie. That's a good thing, I think.
There is an arc for the look of the picture, and that is, it turns brighter and brighter as their relationships with the surrounding community becomes more involved. And I find that very interesting, and so certainly the decoration, the colors, the light, all of that sort of reflects that.
The first time we enter the hotel, we see the old scaffolding, and the kids are confronted by a dark place, and Bruce has his flashlight with him, and they're looking for Friday.
And it's actually scary. It's like an old haunted house.
But when we come to see it during the day, we begin to discover that it's filled with a lot of great opportunities and rooms that they can kind of keep these dogs in.
The hotel is full of junk, which is the good news to Bruce, because he's like a genius inventor.
What he does is he creates all of these little inventions and all of these little contraptions, and basically the hotel goes on autopilot when the kids go back to the Scudder's apartment.
One of the things that we actually get to do is never grow up in our job, so we're always building something or messing with something or wrecking something, or so one of the most fun times we've had in a long time is driving radio-controlled sheep.
Every time we go into a new set, there's something different, there's something that somebody's designed, and it's really cool how they come up with all this stuff.
They're pieces of kinetic art. They're wonderful machines that I know that anybody that sees this movie will love, just for that reason, will love these machines.
What the kids do is really magical in rehabilitating this hotel and making it just a wonderland for dogs and a home away from home for them.
It's really beautiful and magical. It really is. It's just this like beautiful, magical storybook.
When I was told that Hotel for Dogs had been optioned, I had many thoughts because this was a little book that was part of my heart that I really loved. And I am so relieved and so happy to see this movie. The whole spirit of the book is still there, and the characters are still there, and the dogs are still there.
Dogs have a way of speaking to you and being part of your family that really surprises you when you have that.
Family is the gathering of those closest to you and what you feel.
Family is not who's assigned to you by the system or even who you're born to sometimes, but family is kind of where you find it, and the kids make their own family.